Admiral Zexathara studied the tactical display with the confidence of a predator observing cornered prey. The Third Galactic Fleet stretched across space in perfect formation, 12,000 vessels representing the might of an empire that had subjugated 1,000 worlds. Before them hung Earth, the insignificant blue marble that had somehow resisted 3 diplomatic ultimatums. Orbital scans confirmed their primitive defenses, reported Commander Vexnil, his scaled hands dancing across holographic controls. Fusion-powered satellites, chemical rockets, and what appears to be kinetic bombardment platforms. Nothing that could threaten even our escort frigates. Zexathara's mandibles clicked in amusement. The humans had been classified as a Class 7 civilization, barely worth the Empire's attention if not for their strategic position along the outer rim trade routes. Their technology lagged centuries behind galactic standards. Their largest spacecraft barely qualified as system hoppers. "Begin the bombardment sequence," Zexathara commanded. "Target their military installations first. We'll leave the civilian centers intact for processing." The fleet's forward dreadnoughts began charging their plasma arrays when something appeared on the outer sensors. A single contact, emerging from Earth's shadow like a ghost materializing from the void. "Contact bearing 27 Mark IV, announced the sensor operator, confusion creeping into her voice. It's massive, Admiral. Energy signature is off the charts." On the main display, the unknown vessel grew larger as tactical computers struggled to process its dimensions. Where Imperial warships followed elegant organic curves inherited from their aquatic ancestors, this thing was a brutal assemblage of angular plates and geometric projections. Gun barrels, actual kinetic projectile weapons, bristled from its hull like the quills of some prehistoric predator. 15 kilometers long, whispered Commander Vexenil. "Admiral, that's larger than our flagship." Zexathara's confidence wavered. Intelligence had assured him that humanity's largest vessels measured less than a kilometer. This monstrosity dwarfed even Imperial super-dreadnoughts. "Receiving transmission," reported the communications officer. A human appeared on the screen, pale skin, predator's eyes positioned forward in its skull, and an expression of cold calculation that sent instinctive shivers through the bridge crew. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of absolute certainty. "This is Captain Sarah, Chen of the Terran prototype Mjolnir. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from Earth space before I demonstrate why your intelligence networks failed you." Zexathara's shock transformed into rage. "Open fire! All batteries, maximum yield!" The Third Fleet's combined firepower could have sterilized continents. Plasma beams, particle lances, and exotic matter warheads converged on the human vessel in a display of destructive force that had broken the spirits of countless worlds. The human ship didn't even slow down. Energy shields. Impossible energy. Shields deflected attacks that should have vaporized any known material. The vessel accelerated through the bombardment like it was flying through a light rain, closing distance with predatory intent. Shields holding at 98%. Captain Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "Our turn." What happened next would be debated in tactical academies for generations. The Mjolnir's weapon systems activated with mechanical precision. Railguns fired projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. Particle beams carved through space with surgical accuracy. Most terrifying of all were the missile pods, launching not 1 or 2 warheads like civilized warfare demanded, but hundreds of self-guided projectiles that swarmed like metallic insects toward their targets. The Imperial escort frigates died first, their elegant hulls cracked open by kinetic rounds moving too fast for point defense to track. The destroyers lasted longer, their captains desperately maneuvering to escape the impossible accuracy of human targeting systems. None succeeded. "How are they tracking us through our ECM?" Vexnil demanded, watching another squadron evaporate under withering fire. Zexathara couldn't answer. Imperial electronic warfare had been perfected over millennia of conquest. Human sensors shouldn't have been able to penetrate their jamming, let alone achieve target locks at extreme range. The human ship had reached the fleet's center, moving between Imperial dreadnoughts like a shark among fish. Its weapons never stopped firing. Every shot found its mark. Every missile struck with devastating precision. The mathematics were impossible. No single vessel could engage dozens of capital ships simultaneously and survive. But the humans weren't following galactic warfare doctrine. They weren't even following the basic laws of physics as the Empire understood them. Emergency jump, Zexithara screamed as his flagship shuddered under direct hits. All ships, emergency jump to rally point 7. Of the 12,000 vessels that had arrived to claim Earth, fewer than 3,000 limped away into hyperspace. The mighty Third Fleet, victors of the Centauri campaign, conquerors of the Rigel sector, had been systematically dismantled by a single human warship. As they fled, Captain Chen's final transmission followed them into the void. Tell your Empire that Earth builds prototypes, not production models. Next time we'll send the real fleet. In the weeks that followed, intelligence officers across the galaxy worked frantically to understand what had happened at Earth. The humans had somehow leapfrogged centuries of technological development. Their weapon systems operated on principles that violated established engineering limitations. Their defensive capabilities exceeded theoretical maximums. Most disturbing of all was the growing realization that the Mjolnir had been alone, a single prototype, testing its systems against the galaxy's most powerful military force. Admiral Zexithara never recovered from the Battle of Sol. He spent his remaining years in exile, obsessively studying sensor recordings of that impossible human vessel. Sometimes in his dreams, he still heard Captain Chen's words echoing through the vacuum of space. The Galactic Empire had ruled through superior technology and overwhelming force for 10,000 years. They had never encountered a species that treated the laws of physics as suggestions rather than absolutes. They had never met humanity. The prototype had been a warning. The Empire chose not to heed it. That would prove to be their final mistake.